Ex-tropical Cyclone Jasper still a chance to reform into a cyclone next week, and intense rainfall up to a metre of rain soaking around Cairns and in the Daintree rainforest region. Your latest update from Force 13 Australia. So here we are again talking about ex-tropical Cyclone Jasper, plus giving you a comprehensive next week's forecast, and we'll also include a Christmas forecast at the end of this video as well. So stick around to the end because we have a lot to get through. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. It really does help out, and leave a like on the video while you're at it. But without any further ado, let's get straight into the forecast. Taking a look at the current picture across Australia, you can see ex-tropical Cyclone Jasper up in the Cape York Peninsula. It's delivering heavy rainfall down in the Cairns area, and that is expected to persist today and into tomorrow morning. Heatwave conditions are expected to develop across much of Western Australia into the Northern Territory and across parts of Queensland and South Australia as well next week, and also for New Zealand next Tuesday and Wednesday we could be seeing higher than average temperatures there. Severe storms also expected to materialise in southeast Queensland, central Queensland and northern New South Wales. We'll be getting to that later on in the video as well. So a lot going on, and with a possible tropical cyclone in the Gulf of Carpentaria, it just adds more to the picture, and we're going to be taking a look at that now. Ex-tropical Cyclone Jasper, sustained winds of 50 kilometres an hour, pressure of 997 millibars. It's a remnant low right now, or a tropical low over the Cape York Peninsula. It's not expected to do too much in the next couple of days. However, you can see with multimodal diagnostics it will head over the Gulf of Carpentaria, or at least its remnant energy would, and there are some ensemble members that are expecting that this cyclone could become a significant one once again, but the certainty for that forecast has dropped off tremendously. So right now Jasper remains a rain threat. Here's a look at our flood warnings and rainfall. Many rivers around the Daintree rainforest and Tully region are in the major flood warning right now. In fact, there's hardly any in minor flood. It's all major and moderate flood warnings. Most of them are about 3 to 5 metres above the major flood warning, with the Barron River 13.8 metres and rising rapidly. So serious flooding conditions are occurring right now. Upper Fisher Creek recorded nearly 600 millimetres in the past 24 hours, and I believe we've just had a comment on the channel as well with over 800 millimetres of rain near Ravenshoe. So a lot of rainfall falling from this tropical cyclone, and it's only going to continue throughout today. Looking at the rainfall forecast, concentrated rainfall across Woodgill, Port Douglas down to Cairns and Innisfail. It is just very heavy rainfall, intense rainfall the Bureau of Meteorology is warning. The cursor over Cairns, you can see just how much rainfall will be falling in the 3-hour periods marked on this video. Thankfully it will start to ease around Tuesday, and into Tuesday afternoon we'll likely see the rain drop off. And we're going to play this through once again. You can see just tremendous amounts of rainfall expected to fall around Woodgill, up to 150 millimetres every 3 hours. 50 millimetres an hour will be widespread for the rest of today. I'm going to jump out now and take a look at the wider picture for Australia. You can see just how much rainfall is expected to develop across Tuesday in the forms of thunderstorms, which could be severe throughout New South Wales and Queensland. They'll extend into Thursday and Friday. We're just going to be seeing this rainfall continue throughout southeast Queensland. Thankfully, the rest of the nation remains dry, apart from these isolated pulse thunderstorms in the northern regions of Western Australia and the Northern Territory. Before Saturday and Sunday, Christmas Eve, we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms return across much of the eastern states. It should be clear on Christmas Day, actually. Just a couple of thunderstorms firing in the evening across Queensland and the Northern Territory before the rain returns nationwide on Boxing Day. That's looking long range though. Now we're looking at the extreme heat now. You can see heat wave conditions materialising, with temperatures not going to be dropping below 30 degrees Celsius for the next 10 days across large portions of Western Australia. Daytime maxima Wednesday and Thursday next week above 48 degrees for widespread locations around Marble Bar, Port Hedland and extending up to Broome, before the temperatures ease off slightly, but these 40-degree days become very widespread across Western Australia and then extend into the Northern Territory, where we could be seeing Christmas Day widespread temperatures above 42 degrees Celsius throughout much of the Northern Territory and into Queensland. So that basically does it for the temperature forecast nationwide. We're now going to jump over to windy.com and take a look at the forecast models because there is a lot to break down. We'll be giving you the Christmas forecast at the end of the video as promised. Alright, so we're kicking it off here with a look at the radar imagery around Cairns right now. You can see a significant amount of rainfall is falling in the Cairns area right now, and it's extending up to Cape Tribulation, down to Mareeba, and it's extending way further down than the radar is actually saying. The reason why the radar isn't picking up the volume of water that is actually falling right now is because of how heavy the rainfall is actually over the radar. And in fact, the radar has been damaged from this cyclone event. So the radar itself is located located just outside of Cairns at the airport, and because of the mountainous terrain, it is unable to really get a good idea of how heavy the rainfall is down towards the south, sort of around Atherton, and then down towards Innisfail, because I can tell you with this light rainfall that is falling around Innisfail, which has already picked up 100 millimeters in the last 4 hours, you'd need a lot heavier rainfall to do that. So the radar right now is kind of useless for anywhere south of Cairns, but it gives a good idea at how heavy the rainfall and how widespread and persistent it is falling over the Cairns area right now. Now, what is driving this immense volume of water? Well, it is just the immense cloud cover and convection that is firing around the remnants of Jasper right now. The actual center of circulation, or the remnant center of circulation, is located about here. It's just inland from the Gulf of Carpentaria and the Rainfall Sea, on the Cape York Peninsula, but the main thunderstorm activity is associated with the central southern Cape York Peninsula around Chillagoe, north of Mount Surprise and Georgetown, and its inflow banding features but extending further north in Cooktown and up towards Hopevale, and that area and it's extending down towards Townsville. And you can see all of these are pretty mean thunderstorms, as you can see on the infrared satellite imagery. Very intense thunderstorms around the center of the system and across in the inflow features of this storm, which are producing very heavy and consistent rainfall as well. And if you flick over to the rainfall forecast from the Access G3 model, you can see intense thunderstorms producing up to 150 millimeters in the 3-hour period around these inflow features, and they will extend a little bit further south into this afternoon before moving further north, and they'll be concentrated around Cooktown and Wudgil. And this, by the evening period, we're going to start to see the rain ease around Cairns and that sort of region. I really want to know how much rainfall Belend and Kerr has picked up, because there are locations that have picked up over 1,000 millimeters from tropical cyclone Jasper, and I think Belend and Kerr, because the data hasn't came in yet, I reckon we've seen far more than 1,000 millimeters, in fact up to 1,500 from this cyclone so far, and that's what's prompting the major flooding in this region. It's just crazy to see how high the rivers are above their normal. It is just intense stuff, really heavy rainfall from this tropical cyclone so far. And in fact, over the next 24 hours around Cape Tribulation, we're going to be seeing another 600 millimeters fall today, and into tomorrow I think we'll slowly start to see the rainfall ease, but still another 50 millimeters to add to that. So very heavy rainfall, and even around Cairns you're going to be seeing another 300 millimeters today and in the next 3 days. So yeah, really heavy rainfall from this tropical cyclone and its remnants, and it's going to stick around for the next sort of 24 to 48 hours or so before it finally pulls away, and we'll see the remnants of this cyclone hopefully dissipate over the Cape York Peninsula or into the Gulf of Carpentaria. Now, there is a slight chance that this cyclone redevelops Monday and into Tuesday, but the model support for it has fallen off an absolute cliff, and it looks like it just becomes this very messy, sporadic tropical low Thursday into Friday, and yeah, really nothing comes of it, that's for sure. Maybe some thunderstorms toward the northern side of the system, which may affect PNG and the very far northern extremities of the Cape York Peninsula and Queensland, but it doesn't look like this cyclone is going to be any significant threat to land like we were looking at a couple of days ago, which is very good news indeed. And that Christmas cyclone situation, which was looking kind of possible for a short period of time around Darwin, is also looking very unlikely at this time, and it looks like there'll be no cyclone activity for the next at least 10 days across the Australian and the South Pacific region. So now we're going to take a look at rainfall nationwide, at least for the next 10 days. I'm going to be having a look especially around Christmas time, because I believe Thursday, Friday next week, the 21st and the 22nd of December, we're going to be seeing some pretty intense rainfall materialise in southeast Queensland, or more like southern Queensland around the coalfields and the Great Dividing Range, that sort of area, and extending up towards Rockhampton. And they'll also extend down into New South Wales, down as far south as sort of Sydney. So we could be seeing some rainfall there around the 22nd, the evening of the 22nd. And this will be thunderstorm associated, so we could be seeing some pretty gnarly severe thunderstorms as a result of this sort of trough that's going to extend down the coastline from this system. And yeah, they do look like pulse thunderstorms towards the end. Some of them may develop into supercell thunderstorms and become quite intense and quite strong, especially around Christmas Eve time. We could be seeing these widespread, some possibly severe thunderstorms up in northern Queensland and around New South Wales, and they might even extend into Victoria as well. But Christmas Day looks like they'll ease off just temporarily for this part of Australia. We'll be seeing just some pulse thunderstorms up towards the north, which could deliver some brief periods of heavy rainfall. But again, down in Sydney, maybe just a little bit of rainfall from this onshore flow. But again, a pretty nice day, to be fair. A couple of showers here and there, but temperatures should be remaining around that 25-degree threshold around Sydney, and in the mountainous areas, maybe around 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. And extending right up the New South Wales coastline, you're going to be looking at temperatures around that 25-degree threshold. But yeah, throughout the day, it looks like a pretty pleasant day, especially for Victoria. You'll be seeing temperatures in Melbourne, the capital of Victoria, up to around 20 degrees Celsius. And as you enter further north into state, 30 degrees Celsius for Mildura, 30 degrees for Albury-Wodonga. And down into Tasmania, a fine day as well. It looks like maybe a couple of showers here and there in the northern extremities of Tasmania, but you'll be seeing a fine day. Temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius for Hobart. Very nice indeed. Queensland might be the wild card here. We're not 100% sure of what's going to happen Christmas time at least. We could be seeing some thunderstorms as indicated by most forecast models, especially up in towards the northern parts of Queensland around Mount Isa. You could be seeing some pretty significant thunderstorms by the looks of it here. But around sort of Brisbane area should be just pulse thunderstorms in the afternoon, evening, and temperatures remaining pretty warm, I guess, at around that sort of about 30 degrees Celsius as a maximum. And then inland, you're going to be seeing temperatures approach 40 degrees Celsius around Birdsville, 42 degrees Celsius expected. So in the very remote regions, you'll be seeing a very hot day indeed. Northern Territory, thunderstorms as well in the afternoon and evening, especially around the Northern Territory Queensland border. Looks like Darwin remaining dry for the day as well. A peak temperature of around 30 degrees, about 32, 33 degrees Celsius in Darwin. Katherine a little bit hotter at 40 degrees Celsius, and then Central Northern Territory, very hot indeed. Some places could be seeing daytime maxima up to around 47 degrees Celsius. Tennant Creek, 40 degrees Celsius, down to Alice Springs, you'll be looking at around 36 degrees Celsius, and it looks windy as well, so there is a risk of dust. South Australia, fine as always this time of the year. Down towards Adelaide, you'll be seeing a daytime maximum for Christmas Day at around 25 degrees Celsius, and then Western Australia, fine all around, but very hot indeed. In fact, it looks like Perth might be in for a scorcher. Temperatures up to around 35 degrees Celsius there, very hot for Christmas. And then inland, you'll be seeing 40 to 41 degrees Celsius, and then up further north, daytime maxima probably around that 45 degree threshold, which again, normal for this time of the year, but still very hot indeed. There is a heat wave expected to develop in Western Australia Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday, with temperatures not going to be falling below sort of 28, 29 degrees Celsius for days on end. And you can be seeing daytime maxima, especially on Friday, which I believe is going to be the hot day out of all of them. Or maybe it's Thursday, you'll be seeing daytime maxima in Western Australia approach the 50 degree threshold around 47, 48 in places. And that's very widespread temperatures indicated by the white on this forecast, above 45 degrees Celsius, triangulated from Exmouth to Newman, up to Fitzroy Crossing, inland to Broome, and extending all along the coastline there. So very hot conditions indeed. Now, there is a risk if we go really long and the monsoon could throw a cyclone up in sort of the really northern extremities of the Western Australian waters. I believe that's been on the forecast recently, but it looks like on the latest forecast run it has been killed off, which is good news indeed. But it's definitely this time of the year where we can be seeing tropical cyclone activity fire up along Western Australia. And in fact, compared to last seasons, we've had a very quiet start to the cyclone season across Western Australia. Normally, Western Australia is the first place to get us kicked off with tropical cyclones, but it's been Queensland's turn this year, and as a result, very heavy rainfall indeed. Now, also going really long range from the GFS forecast, a tremendous amount of rainfall could fall around Sydney and that sort of region, but that's beyond 15 days, so we're looking at New Year's, that sort of time for that, so I'm not going to get too deep into that this video, but it is something to note, and we'll be bringing you the latest on the Force 13 Australia channel. If you're still watching, thank you very much for watching this video, and please do consider subscribing and leave a like on the video while you're at it. It really does help us out a lot, and tell me how we can improve in the comment section down below. But that's the latest from me, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.